Aloha and good afternoon. Thanks for tuning into This Is Now. We start with some breaking news out of the Valley Isle. A fast-moving brush fire has prompted evacuations in parts of Wailuku.
Maui's Emergency Management Agency has issued mandatory evacuations for the Piihana Road area. Voluntary evacuations are in place for Happy Valley and Wailuku Country Estates. Evacuees are being directed to Keopuolani Regional Park. Now, MFD says multiple fires in the Piihana Farms area were reported this morning. Nearby homes were evacuated as a precaution. That happened before the mandatory evacuation notice. Now, fire crews are on scene working to contain the blazes. Stay with Hawaii News Now on air and online for the latest updates.
Now to our other top story. A day after President Biden ended his re-election bid, the race to replace him at the top of the Democratic ticket is shaping up.
President Biden, along with several top Democrats, has publicly thrown his support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. Her campaign says it already raised $81 million in the first 24 hours. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
With the political world drastically shifting, Vice President Kamala Harris is looking for solid ground in the first full day of her presidential campaign, praising President Biden after he announced he's dropping out of the race for the White House.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history.
She did not directly address the president's endorsement for her to be the nominee, as top Democrats line up to support her, from former President Clinton to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Congressman Jim Clyburn.
She is well equipped to prosecute, I want to emphasize, to prosecute the case against Donald Trump.
Other leading Democrats stopping short of a full endorsement for now.
She's exciting the country. And so I'm looking forward to sitting down with her.
The 59-year-old former prosecutor, California Attorney General, U.S. Senator, and first female vice president, meeting today with campaign staff after promising to earn and win the nomination.
I don't think that her performance as VP has been notable.
And being the first black woman president, potentially, it was just very exciting for me.
The Trump campaign forced to change gears with President Biden's age and mental acuity off the table, now tying Vice President Harris to what they see as the administration's weaknesses, especially border security. The vice president's nomination is not a lock, though the party is hoping to swiftly unite to take on former President Trump. With just a month to go until the Democratic National Convention's formal nominating process, there are also questions swirling about who the vice presidential nominee will be. Among the leading contenders, the Democratic governors of some key swing states that will be so critical in the November election. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Citing a number of things, including his support for Maui following the wildfires, Hawaii's Governor Josh Green praised President Biden for his work, and he's now endorsing Vice President Harris for the White House. Eddie Dowd has more.
He came to our aid when we were in our time of need.
Green says he was planning to support the president all the way to election night, but that all changed Sunday.
I actually heard officially, like everyone else did when the president made the formal announcement.
But with the president dropping out, he says he will now support Vice President Kamala Harris.
It's not my place to tell people who to vote for, but please look deeply into the heart of the candidates, because you have to look to find someone who cares about us. And that's why it's easy for me personally to support President Biden and to support Vice President Harris.
Congressmember Joe Takuda, who was also with President Biden during his visit to Lahaina last year, refrained from joining the more than 35 members of Congress who called for the president to step aside.
I was very fortunate. Over a week ago, I was able to have a conversation with the president and ask hard questions. And I will tell you this, aside from what everyone else was asking, he asked me before he got off, how was Maui? How are people doing? What more do you need from me right now? What more can we do?
31 delegates from Hawaii will go to Chicago next month for the Democratic National Convention to officially vote on who will replace Biden on the ticket. We talked to two of them about how they'll vote.
If there is an open convention scenario, I'm personally going to be voting for Vice President Harris. We're going to have a prosecutor running against a felon.
29% of Hawaii's voters did vote in our primary for uncommitted, which was intended to send a message to the nominee that we need to shift U.S. policy in the Israel-Palestine conflict. And so I am going to remain with the uncommitted vote.
Hawaii Republican Party Chair Tamara Mackay says politics aside, she's glad Democrats are going with someone else.
You cringe every time he speaks. Is he going to say the wrong thing? Is he going to walk in the wrong direction? I just think it's irresponsible, and it's very sad, and it's heartless as well to continue to put a man in that type of a position.
I was elected governor. He was supported from the first moment. And then, of course, the fire, that embrace, it showed you, the size of his heart.
Governor Green says he still plans to hold that fundraiser at the end of the month, this time to support Kamala Harris for president. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Now, the lone Hawaii congressional delegate not outright endorsing the vice president just yet is Congressman Ed Case. In a statement Sunday, he said in part he will discuss with his constituents and colleagues the best way forward on a Democratic nominee. Meanwhile, Hawaii voters are now reconsidering who they will support come November.
I didn't pay too close attention to it, but I mean, he's an old guy, and seeing two old guys on a stage yelling at each other is not really the not the best image for America. So I guess that this might be a change of pace.
Kind of shocking, actually, kind of recently getting into the politics and seeing a president step down in our lifetime and passing it on to the VP is kind of crazy to think about.
Following Biden's withdrawal, the Biden-Harris campaign formally amended filings to officially declare Kamala Harris as candidate for president. The move gives her control of the Biden-Harris campaign account, which had nearly $96 million at the end of June. Also on Capitol Hill, the head of the Secret Service faced fierce questioning today. The House Oversight Committee demanded answers on the security breakdown that failed to prevent an assassination attempt on former President Trump. As Nicole Killian reports, calls are increasing for a change of leadership at the Secret Service.
Looks like you guys were cutting corners.
The director of the U.S. Secret Service took responsibility for the security lapse that allowed an attempted assassination against former President Donald Trump.
The Secret Service's solemn mission is to protect our nation's leaders. On July 13th, we failed.
But Director Kimberly Cheadle offered few answers as to how an assassin was able to position himself on a rooftop about 500 feet from the podium.
I'm not going to get into specifics of that day.
Frustrating lawmakers with unanswered questions.
The lack of answers and the lack of report is just simply not something that we can accept here.
Cheadle did reveal agents had been told between 2 and 5 times a suspicious person had been spotted, but Trump was still allowed to take the stage.
If the detail had been past information that there was a threat, the detail would never have brought the former president out onto stage.
You distinguish between someone who is suspicious and someone who's threatening, is that right?
Committee Chair James Comer said the Secret Service needs new leadership.
It has now become the face of incompetence.
Cheadle has been with the Secret Service for nearly 30 years and still has President Biden's support, but multiple lawmakers are calling for her resignation.
I call upon you to resign today.
I believe, Director Cheadle, that you should resign.
The Secret Service has confirmed at times denying Trump campaign requests for more security, but Cheadle says that was not the case on the day of the shooting. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
Back here in the islands, a 38-year-old pedestrian is dead after a crash in North Kona early this morning. This happened just before 4 a.m. on Queen Ka'ahumanu Highway, just south of the Kaloko-Honokohau intersection. Investigators said a green Subaru crossed over the white fog line and struck the man walking. Police said the driver then abandoned his vehicle and fled the scene. He was later located a block from the crash and arrested for allegedly operating a vehicle under the influence, negligent homicide, manslaughter, inattention to driving, and failing to render aid. An investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Their number there is 961-8300. And this marks the 21st traffic fatality this year for the island compared to 10 at the same time last year. A new video into our newsroom today of a truck that narrowly missed a house. This happened in the Kalihi Valley area. Check it out as you can see the aftermath of the crash. Crews were called out to the home on Kalihi Street around 6:15 this morning. We're told the truck may have rolled down a steep hill, then through a fence. Our crew did see one man being treated by responding EMS crews. We'll bring you any new developments with this story as they come in.
A 46-year-old Lahaina man was arrested on Sunday, suspected of second-degree murder. The victim, a 53-year-old Lahaina man, was found unresponsive Saturday morning with severe injuries to his arm on Honoapi'ilani Highway in Ka'anapali. Police say a witness saw a man standing over the victim's body before driving off. The suspect has not yet been charged. Warrior Rainbow's star receiver, Stephen McBride, was arrested for felony abuse on Saturday. UH officials said in a statement on Sunday that McBride is suspended indefinitely from all team activities with the Rainbow Warriors. The statement also said in part, the University of Hawaii takes any allegation of domestic violence very seriously. Per our student-athlete handbook, any student facing felony charges will be automatically suspended pending further processes occurring. McBride was booked Saturday morning for the abuse of a family member, which is a felony. It was for allegedly shoving a woman who was holding a baby. He has not been charged. Now to some new details on the brush fire out in Koke'e on Kauai. Kauai County officials have released their final update on the incident, saying emergency assets have been demobilized in the area as the land department works to conduct final mop-up efforts. Fire officials said approximately 1,600 acres have been burned since Thursday. There are no road closures in place, and both Waimea Canyon Drive and Koke'e Road remain open. The Kauai Emergency Operations Center has also stood down operations for this incident. Take a look at the traffic mess this morning on the H1 freeway. All of this backlog because a truck carrying gravel spilled its load onto the road. This happened in the westbound lanes near the Sears Distribution Center to the Waipahu exit. Crews were sent out to quickly clean up the mess. Then later in the morning, there was another report of an accident in the eastbound lanes. So it was slow going all around for drivers today. Noise cameras expected to roll out this month will be delayed. The Transportation Department says that's because they are still trying to secure a supplier. The cameras detect excessive noise coming from a car loud enough to reach a distance of 30 feet on the road, which is prohibited. A $100 fine is then sent straight to the driver, much like a red light camera. Residents have mixed reactions on the devices.
I love to sleep quietly, but the thing is sometimes the cars can be noisy.
I think that's just like invading people's privacy. It's too much. I think the speed light cameras is already doing its job.
The DOT says the pilot program will only be introduced in areas with excessive noise complaints. So far, that's Kaka'ako and Waikiki. The U.S. Navy is hosting 29 navies from around the world for the RIMPAC exercises. Annalisa Burgos went on board the USS Carl Vinson for a rare look inside one of America's most powerful and technologically advanced battleships.
About 100 miles south of Hawaii, the USS Carl Vinson is sailing across the Pacific, carrying more than 5,000 sailors and 75 aircraft. A moving runway and hub for 19 ships taking part in RIMPAC's war scenarios. I got a chance to visit the aircraft carrier at sea with other media. We take an Osprey, part helicopter, part plane, and land on the massive 18-story floating city to witness operations up close. Being on the flight deck is like standing on a very narrow and dangerous active runway. You've got moving planes, catapults, spinning rotors, loud jet exhausts, and flexing steel cables. And you can't hear anything. Sailors wear colored shirts to match their jobs and use signals to execute a choreographed dance of multi-billion-dollar aircraft. F-18 fighter attack jets, Seahawk helicopters, Ospreys, E-2D Hawkeye surveillance aircraft, and F-35 stealth fighters, the military's most advanced aircraft. Rear Admiral Michael Washi explains the Vinson's role in RIMPAC.
Some will go out and pretend to be unknown aircraft coming towards the ships, while other airplanes out here will operate as part of integrated air defense with the ships. Every 2 years we do this. We do new experimentation and new procedures. Part of it is just a function of the new equipment and capabilities that we bring along, like the F-35. Part of it is the addition of more nations and allowing all of them to operate and share roles from all aspects of our tactical operations, from anti-submarine warfare to surface warfare to air defense.
All orders come from the very top deck, where the air boss and mini boss control when aircraft take off and land. Down a few decks, the handler tracks the movement and position of every aircraft on what looks like a game board, a replica of the flight deck and hangar.
This is what we call the Ouija board.
The board provides a real-time snapshot of the location and status of aircraft, using items like nuts and bolts to indicate maintenance and other needs.
I'm the one that controls where they go via my yellow shirts.
So now we're in the hangar bay where all the aircraft is stored and worked on for maintenance, and all kinds of aircraft are down here. But it's not all work. We check out one of the dining areas where sailors from across the world get a chance to break bread together.
I like to say it's always great to know your friends before you need your friends. So doing an exercise like this gives us that opportunity to work together before potentially like a humanitarian assistance problem comes up.
Among the sailors on board, Oahu natives who say they understand Hawaii's complicated relationship with the military, but embody its benefits.
It's really, really good for the economy. We bring a lot of business to Hawaii, and of course we're protecting our land. Been in the Navy 25 years, so I've done this a few times. First time on an aircraft carrier, but it's always nice to be back at home.
Hey, mahalos to my mom. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. My family helped me down from the roots and up. Woo. Hey, big shout out to everybody. Love you guys. Hey, Wapau, 94 block, you know what I'm saying? But
a reminder that behind the big ships and fancy aircraft are regular folks proud to serve and sacrifice for their country. Annalisa Burgos, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you so much, Annalisa, for that. Let's send you live outside through a look of one of our tower cameras. It's a beautiful day here in Honolulu. No major rainmakers. We are keeping a close eye on the fire on Maui. And Ash, you also have a travel advisory?
That's right. So due to screening delays today at Honolulu's airport, the State Transportation Department is advising those with flights departing from Terminal 1 to allow for plenty of time to get through security. So that's at least 2 hours for inter-island flights and 3 hours for trans-Pacific flights. That's what's recommended. Again, this is for flights departing from Terminal 1.
How's it on this Monday? It's still very quiet here in the Central Pacific. No sign of any cyclonic activity. We do have a few showers coming in with the trade wind flow, but really it's mostly dry. Now we are expecting a disturbance to come in from the east starting tonight through tomorrow. Going to be a little damp tomorrow with more clouds and more showers, drying up again by Wednesday. And those breezy winds will hold firm. In fact, expected to get a little bit stronger from Wednesday on. Now, as far as the surf, no significant swells are heading in, although it's still going to be a little bit elevated over on the east shore with the wind swell creating some choppy conditions. So this is what we're looking at over the next 7 days. We got some real nice conditions today with lots of sunshine. And then later tonight through tomorrow, a disturbance moves in with more clouds and more showers. You'll notice the difference tomorrow. You might need that umbrella. And then by Wednesday, drier conditions take over, although the winds will step up and get stronger. So it's going to be quite breezy from Wednesday through Friday, and that means the brush fire threat is elevated at that time with the low humidity levels. And then over the weekend, the winds are expected to slow down.
In today's news from the feeds, McDonald's $5 value meal will be around a little longer because the fast food chain says it is driving customers back to its locations. CNBC obtained a memo written by company executives which said its restaurants wanted to extend the promotion beyond the planned 4-week promotional window. According to the memo, most stores will extend the promotion through August. The menu was initially rolled out June 25th, and it includes the McChicken, the McDouble, 4-piece chicken nugget, along with fries and a drink for just $5 or less than what it would cost to buy those items separately. McDonald's is among the chains trying to boost slowing sales as diners, especially lower income ones, pass on rising restaurant prices. Well, impacts are still being felt from that CrowdStrike outage that was prompted by a software update for Microsoft devices late Thursday into early Friday. The outage impacted an estimated 8.5 million Windows devices, and as we mentioned, this time travelers are still feeling the impacts. Reed Binion reports.
It just seems like no one really cares about us.
Travelers stranded at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and other major airports Sunday, day 3 of fallout from Friday's massive global tech outage.
We're sleeping on the floors, there's kids sleeping on the floors, and no one's done anything about it.
The outage caused by a flawed software update for Microsoft Windows operating systems issued by cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. The impact felt throughout the weekend. According to tracking website FlightAware.com, more than 1,500 U.S. flights were canceled for a third straight day Sunday, and more than 8,500 were delayed. Upwards of 1,000 of the cancellations were from Delta, the airline pausing all travel for unaccompanied minors until Wednesday. Delta and other carriers are still working to recover their systems and restore operations.
This hit all of the major hubs, Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago. Once it hits those hubs, then it just cascades.
CrowdStrike says it deployed a fix for the outage, but airlines have computers at thousands of gates that need to be individually, manually rebooted.
Delta, United, Spirit seem to be still going through some issues.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Many people fondly remember their high school proms, and while this special event is usually associated with young people, a group of seniors in Chicago is proving that getting dressed for prom never gets old. Noel Brennan has more.
Feeling good about how you look.
It feels real good.
Never gets old.
The good part about it is that you're happy.
95-year-old Dolores Williams feels 16 all over again.
Well, you look gorgeous. This would be a lot of fun. Thank you.
She's reflecting on her high school prom experience.
I remember I got a good kiss.
Because today, she gets to relive it.
Oh, I'm getting ready for the prom.
It's senior prom day at Roseland Place, a senior living facility on the south side.
Prom to me is a lifetime memory, something they remember for a lifetime.
Nancy Edwards has been planning for months as resident services coordinator, soliciting help from the community and nonprofits to throw a party for about 100 low-income seniors.
Everybody was just volunteering. You know, it's like so far, whatever I needed, it came through.
Do you have a date?
You want to be it?
Dolores' first prom sounds like it was hard to beat, but this time, nearly 80 years later, she's royalty.
Who would want to be a queen?
She looked very pretty. She looked very stunning. She looked like an actual queen.
There's no cost for hair or makeup for the prom queen or anyone else. Even dresses and suits were donated to make everyone feel like a royal.
The king of the prom today.
A prom day every senior deserves.
Oh, that is so cute. And I love when she was like, you want to be my date? Oh, that is some smooth talking right there. Oh, man. Hey, once again, we are tracking that breaking news, the evacuations on Maui near Piihana Road area. We are continuing to monitor this, and we will continue to bring you any updates on the H&N mobile app, so be sure to have that downloaded to your mobile phone. For now, let's end on a live look once again outside over beautiful Honolulu. Thanks for watching.